Welcome to AdFuture 7's channel. I found a good reason to start a Java project. This is not my first programming on Java, but for a long time I didn't get a good idea about what to do with Java development. Today I found one pretty good project. It's a sprint file. The first thing is to install Java extension on Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code also very friendly. It already have extension pack for Java for Windows user. Here are some package it recommend to install. Also here the Spring Boot. And they are supported by a Java community. So I already download the installer here. Start installing. Probably I need to close VC Code first. I think the suggested environment should probably be Eclipse. But I already have a VC community and VC Code. I think Microsoft created Visual Studio Code for cross-platform, but there are legacy issues, something like file format. Microsoft is the only one different from others. Nowadays, online services are more important than console application. We always need to update, like a RESTful service, constantly update to the server. If Microsoft still focus on personal computer, then it will lose the chance to get involved in cloud computing realm. I think this is why Microsoft is trying so hard to support Linux format. Now you can have a Linux format files in your own Windows OS. And also Azure provides Linux server too. Alright, finally the installation is done. The next thing is to create a GitHub repository. I already created an AWS repo. Create the local repository. So go into the repository I created and download the project in the report. After download the report, here shows the name of the repository. The repository already have the remote origin. So this part is I try to go back to previous setting. And of course they have a different setting. Come back to AWS report, and here is the only thing I have, the README MD. And then is create the developer environment for GCC. Yes, you hear that right. I'm creating the environment for GCC. I want to review the Linux network socket first. So here is how AWS prepare for the tool of Mac and GCC, also the auto config. So since I'm using the AMI, this is the package AWS already prepared. So I use PUTTY, connect to the server. It already have a Git folder. I update the content first. So here I start to install the environment. Okay, that run quite a long way down here. And then I already have a sample.c file. Okay, let's see what the sample.c file shows. That's a very simple. Right? To put the string. I'm going to review it to make sure the GCC is working. So this is the sample file. Then I call the GCC sample-o to create the object file. Then I get this executable file here. And when executed, okay. So that's sample, execute it. I will see the content here. Right. So the next thing is I try to compile the server.c. Okay, I already created the server.c here. Okay, this sample comes from CS Education. Yeah, because I'm creating a Linux network socket. So it will not work on MS OS. I already have one MFC network sample on the other repository. Maybe I'll mention that later. These two are Linux library. So I don't exactly have that here. So this is the error message we'll output to the console. And the main function, first one is check the argument. The number of arguments should be correct. And then open the server socket. Okay, here. Then with the socket, also set up the SIM address and the port. Then bind the socket. It will open the listening. So here is a listen to the port. Then if the client comes, the server will accept the connection. And read the input here and send the corresponding message. Alright, this is a very simple socket sample. So I upload. I commit this file to the GitHub, and I already have that in the AWS server. Okay, let me see if it's working. Typing error happens. Okay, this is my break to debug. Alright, finally it's working. So what I've done is here. It complains about several things. One is exit, and the second is the exit is the first one. Second is standard error. This string. Then the following is a B0. And then is a read and write function. So here is the fix. The standard error, I need to include the error number. Right? And the read-write function that is related to network. So I need unique standard library. And the ambiguous one, B0. It was defined as string. So after finish, include library. Successfully run a compile, and I can start the server for now. If it have anything wrong, I need a client to test that. So start listening. Then the server will focus on the listening. I can shift it to the backward. Alright, then after compile here, so I can run the server. Okay, open the port 5000 and pause a little while. And keep it running at the background. Okay. So I can continue my other work, something like update my GitHub. Okay, the only thing I want to update is the modify and also the basic. Okay, but I only want to update the C files, so probably I need to edit the ignore, but later. Okay, then I need to update my local repository. Now I complete the client-side code. Okay, I just copy what I fixed in server to client side. Error message is the same, and here is the socket setting. So for the first is open the server socket and find the server. Then set the information to server ADDR structure. Then run the connection, and if the connection is success, prompt the message to ask for input. Then write to the server. Then on the previous program, we know that the server will add a short string on the head and return the rest back to the client. So write first, read the second, and then I just wonder, maybe this program should lose the connection. Let me check again. Okay, so when I check the example on the tutorial, I found for a one-way connection. This tutorial didn't mention about closed socket neither. So on handling multiple connections, there is specific line to close the connection. I think we probably can leave it alone for now. Let me update my local file to remote. Two stage. So at the commit. I think probably I need to put things more precisely. Oh, I see, here. Looks fine. Alright, then is the commit message. Then I need to update the remote repository. CC client. Okay, my turn to debug. Alright, complete debug. So here are, I think only one. Okay, yes, I break it down. So what I fix is here. Include the inetDB. So the structure, so the function code, this one, get host by name, could be utilized. The one I missed from the file. Okay, so the first thing is I need to start a server. Okay, so start a server. 5,000. Alright, then the system will focus on the process. I need to shift the process. Alright. Here is so I post it with Ctrl Z and type of BG to shift it to the background. So if I try to initialize the same port, the system will return that the port already occupied. So the next thing is I activate the client side. So this one I need to specify the host. My host is a local host. Alright, the port is 5,000. Then prompt the this message is from the client side. So it means that the connection succeed. And I type connected. Yeah. Alright. Then the server return me the I got your message. Yeah, that is what's said in the code. And here is the message of the background process. So inside the code, so we can see here. Yeah, previously the file will be the same. So there is no closing, but it will terminate after we receive one connection. So this server only work once. Alright. So for the test on network socket on Linux server. So let me update my local. I will start the Java next one. Everything needs test first. So I created a Java file. Just want to make sure the compiler is working. And from my previous record. Okay. Here. No, I'm using AWS AMI, supposed to support Java. And yes, it has a Java runtime here. Okay, when I check the version, it has a Java runtime, but it didn't have a development tool. Okay, so when I search online any advice here, okay, there are someone encountered the same problem 7 years ago. And here are the default support AWS provided. It's like the previous command development tool, right? Yeah, this is already a package. So previously I installed as an administrator, so this time I also install it as administrator. This is correct. The sudo is correct, the previous typo. Okay, so the Amazon provided a detail of what is going to be installed, and yes, download the package and install. Then I can use the Java compiler. So here, I use Java C, this one, to compile my program and use Java to run the object. Compile. The Java class didn't seem executable, but yes, it can. Alright, so this is what the program is supposed to show. Okay, then I can move on to the socket trial. The next, create socket in Java. Here are the simple reference. Okay, so this is my alteration. There are two resources I reference to because they have a different style, but I want to rewrite it as the previous C Linux style. So from here, you can see that it's quite similar from my previous one. Okay, I can open the C sample here. So this is the server side. This is a C version. Other than include, here are create the socket, identify its family, and bind the socket. So previous are define, the rest are listen. So for the definition on Java, you can see the definition only comes here. Only one line. This is simplified. I think these two methods are almost identical. Let me show you how the MFC is structured. Here is why I said Windows network is too difficult. I try to use WFC. So the first thing is that you need to create an interface. Here. Create an interface first. Then create the class according to the interface. So these are about completed the library. And here is the file, assembly info. This is not created by the developer. It will automatically adjust via your development. So it's no use to modify this file. It will be overwritten. Then you probably need to adjust some of the property like a localhost and the name you want to create. This is for the server side. So the method you bind the port. This one is automatically generated at the beginning, and you need to edit it a little bit. Then you need to create the server side. So this is the host. Include the library we just developed, and here is the service string we want to use. Right? Till here everything looks fine. And listen the endpoint and read and write the required information. Right. Till here everything are reasonable, but move on to the client side. It's crazy. So on the client side, you need to first at the reference add the system default service. Okay, here system service model. This is included later, and you also need to include your own host. So here, system you're going to find your calculator, right? So it didn't, when add up, it didn't show in here, but it goes to the assembly here. Okay. So how does the assembly be generated? Here, you need to run the external application svc-util. It will generate your app config and assembly file for you. So on the next file to develop the client, here is the object name. Probably I never typed, but I can only use this generated object name. Okay, so this is where I said the Linux Unix socket are much reasonable. Okay, this is a small tool about the WFC. So move back to Java servlet. Continue. So here we create the socket and start listen. So on the Java network, it really save lots of time. And here we need to create the read input stream and output stream. Okay, they are also routed to client socket. Here are some type of error. I already fixed that in AWS. So there is a little change. I don't want to deposit it after one command. So I use the while and set up the terminate string as the over. So when the client side send out over, then it will terminate this program. So go out of the while loop. So here is the server side. Continuously respond to that server reply, and finally close the connection. After the client send out the over message. Okay, this is what I'm familiar with. Close everything. So close the socket, close the input string and output string. Alright, the main function of the Java. Okay, so this is the server side. Client side, I need 3 IO streams. One is from the console. I need to read the client's message. So the second and third are input from or output to the server. So the socket, only one line, and create the socket and connect to the host. Then set up 3 IO streams. I didn't put anything, but start here. Allow client to send the message and just output it, the server message. Okay, so at the end, close everything. Okay, so yeah, it is quite compact as using Java network socket. To me, I think writing in C or Java on Linux is quite identical. Okay, so here is my test on the server side. I already uploaded the file. So, and I already compiled the server and the client class. Let me start a server class first. And set it to background. Alright. Yeah. Okay, here is it right? Okay, I didn't type in anything wrong. It's my connection today is a little bit strange. Then I run the client. Okay, connected, and this message from client. Oh, there is another typo. Oh, I forgot to recompile. I thought I already fixed that. So let's see the server. Yep, at the list line as I read. Alright, I mistaken this as GCC. Okay, Java C server in Java. Okay, so here is a new server. And then let's start a client again. Another. Here, messages. Continue. Yes, it didn't pop out automatically, so I want to choose. Yeah, okay. So I delayed a little bit. Alright. Okay, for now, it's a complete two socket programming for C and Java, and a little bit complaint about the WC. It's a post for now. Thanks for watching. See you next time.